Yo, I got a remote over here for the camera so I can stay right in this spot and literally press record. Stop recording. Oh, we're living in the 21st century now. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope that you're having a lovely day. My name is Justin, and today we're listening to Dire Straits with their song Industrial Disease. This is off of their album Love Over Gold, released in 1982. I love this remote that I just got, but the wire is incredibly short, so I had to move the camera up a little bit, which is why I'm like kind of hitting the top of the frame a little bit. But I think the advantage of like just sitting here and just like pressing record, it means mountains and it means hills. Because I know it seems like a small thing, but every time I want to re-record or do a video, I have to get up, go hit the camera, come back. It's just back and forth, trying to streamline things. And that's it. Let's get into this industrial disease. Perhaps there is a cure. You guys are more than welcome to join me on Twitter, etc., etc., etc. Let's get into the music. This is Dire Straits with Industrial Disease.
Down the quality control, somebody threw a spanner, they threw him in the hole. There's rumors in the Logan Bay and anger in the town. Somebody blew the whistle and the walls came down. There's a meeting in the boardroom, they're trying to trace the smell. There's a leaking in the washroom, there's a sneaking personnel. Somewhere in the corridor, someone was heard to sneeze. Goodness me, could this be industrial disease? Caretaker was crucified, sleeping in his post, refusing to be pacified. It's him they blame the most. Watchdog or rabies, the foreman got a fillets. Everyone concerned about industrial disease. There's panic on the switchboard, tongues and knots. Some come out in sympathy, some come out in spots. Some blame the management, some the employees. Everybody knows it's the industrial disease. The United workforce is disgusted, downs, tools, walks. Innocence is injured, experience just talks. Everyone seeks damages, and everyone agrees that these are classic symptoms of a monetary squeeze. On ITV and BBC they talk about the curse. Philosophy is useless, theology is worse. History falls over, there's an economics freeze. Sociologists invent words that ain't industrial disease. Dr. Parkinson declared, I'm not surprised to see you here. You've got smoker's cough from smoking, brewer's drip from drinking beer. I don't know how you came to get the Betty Davis knees, but worst of all, young man, you've got industrial disease. He wrote me a prescription, he said, you are depressed. I'm glad you came to see me to get this off your chest. Come back and see me later. Next patient, please. Send him another victim of industrial disease. Splendid. And I go down to Speaker's Corner, I'm a thunderstruck. They got
That's a fun little opener for side two of the album. I like that. It has a lot of bounce and energy to it. It has kind of like a not blues, but I don't know why I can't think of the exact genre or sound, but it has a different kind of maybe like 60s, 50s kind of rock and roll style to it, which I think is really cool. I think the guitar and of course the organ play very well. Really love the organ playing, especially. And I like how in the end of one of the lines you get a little burst of piano. And it comes back every single time, and it's just a little bit of a little sunbeam through the clouds every time that it returns. That's really cool. This song, I'll admit, it's my least favorite I've heard thus far. I don't know why. There's something about the sound of it, it just doesn't connect with me. I can appreciate it on a structure level and like the, as I've always said, the harmonies really between guitar and keys, and of course the whole band included. It all sounds good. It just doesn't connect with me the same way the previous two tracks have. It still has the same tones and energy of those other two tracks. There's still a lot of use of space, a lot of use of like a certain energy that Dire Straits just happens to have, especially because of Mark Knopfler. And if we just pull it back a little bit, you know what this kind of reminds me of? Or who this kind of reminds me of? Just the singing here, and tell me if I'm way off, because sometimes I'm way off, and I have a feeling that with my next statement, I may be in collision course with some. But it reminds me a little bit of Ziggy Stardust, David Bowie. Am I way off the mark there? Because it reminds me a little bit. I mean, if you listen to it, it kind of has a similar style. Like I said, I could be completely off, but that's just something I noticed, because as I was listening, I'm like, this kind of sounds like a similar style or something, and that's what I was thinking of. But production-wise, I also think it's really nice, and I've mentioned this with the other tracks, but just how spaced out everything is in the room, that's really a huge job. I really do think that that's a bigger credit to the music than maybe is given, and the producing is done by Mark Knopfler, so it just so happens to work out that way. That's good. Yeah, the song plays well, it just doesn't quite hit the same marks that the other tracks have. But let's talk about the lyrics briefly, which as far as I can tell, maybe, seems like it's talking about maybe a lack of safety protocols in the workplace, and how eventually that leads to, some harm to employees and employers, and then how people are outraged by that, and it just kind of goes forth from there. It says, now warning lights are flashing down at quality control. Somebody threw a spanner and they threw him in the hole. There's rumors in the loading bay and anger in the town. Somebody blew the whistle and the walls the walls came down. And you get a lot of that even today. Where companies are in a sense abusing their employees, and they're not getting the time they need. They're not having certain safety nets that are supposed to be in place. That's why places or things like OSHA are kind of like around, to make sure there's some sort of standard. But that's not always the case, and it definitely wasn't always the case in the past. And people eventually are going to get angry, obviously. They're trying to trace the smell. There's a leaking in the washroom. There's a sneak in personnel. Somewhere in the corridor, someone was heard to sneeze. Goodness me, could this be industrial disease? And you see how, kind of like Telegraph Road, it starts from a simple concept and grows and expands into something else. So I really like that part of their narrative that they've done. Telegraph Road, of course, starting from one singular person into the growth of a town, into a city, and all the negative effects that may come from that. But you start from humble beginnings. So here we're getting something as small as, hearing someone sneeze, or there's a smell in the break room, and then eventually leads into protest and people trying to change things and that whole thing. Yeah, now the workforce is disgusted. Downs, tools, walks. They're leaving. They're getting out. Innocence is injured. Experience just talks. Everyone seeks damages, and everyone agrees that these are classic symptoms of a monetary squeeze. Companies trying to cut corners just to make a little bit more money. Dr. Parkinson declared, I'm not surprised to see you here. You've got smokers cough from smoking, brewers droop from drinking beer. I don't know how you came to get the Betty Davis knees, but worst of all, young man, you've got industrial disease. He says he wrote him a prescription because he was depressed. And he says, come back and see me later. Next patient, please send in another victim of industrial disease. Now, it could be talking about the literal industrial disease or side effects of working in unsafe conditions. It could also just be talking about overworking, stressing yourself over work. This could be taken in a lot of different ways. And then at one point, he talks about on the corner, there's two men that say they're Jesus, and he says one of them must be wrong. He talks about a protest singer singing a protest song, but the funniest lyric is near the end, where he says, meanwhile, the first Jesus says, I'd cure it soon, abolish Monday mornings and Friday afternoons. Because no one wants to wake up on a Monday morning to go to work. And by Friday afternoon, you're pretty much already thinking of the weekend. And then he says, the other one's out on hunger strike. He's dying by degrees. How come Jesus gets industrial disease? I think that's hilarious. Once again, I'm drawn a lot towards the writing in the music. The actual song is okay, not a favorite, but I would love to know what you guys thought of it. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments. You can follow me on Twitter. You can support the channel on Patreon. You can do so many things, but most of all, don't overwork yourself. Seriously, don't overwork yourself. I know some of you are hard workers. A lot of you are hard workers. But don't kill yourself for a job. You know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. Just relax. Take it easy. Your life is more important than a job. Remember that. I will talk to you tomorrow. It's my little penny of wisdom. I'll see you later, guys. Bye.